Welcome to Facebook Live. It's Trainer Joe. Today we're talking about weight loss is not about willpower. I was working with a group of realtors and we got started, and when we do my program, we don't eat after 7:30. And after a week, we came back together and one of the realtors was complaining. She said, I just can't do it. I can't. These Reese cups are calling out my name at night, and I just can't not eat them. And one of the other realtors said, well, I'll help you. I'll call you. She still didn't do it. Why can't she not eat Reese cups after 7:30 at night? Do you know why? It's not her willpower. Willpower is not the issue here. You know what the issue is? The stakes aren't high enough. And the stakes aren't sure enough. The stakes aren't high enough and sure enough for it to work. Do you think if I would have said to this lady, here's the deal, every night that you don't eat anything after 7:30, including a Reese cup, I'm going to reward you with $1,000. I'll give you $1,000 and I'll show her my big bag of money. I'll give you $1,000 the very next morning. You say, I didn't eat a Reese cup. We got proof. You didn't eat Reese cups. You get $1,000. How many days in a row do you think she'll not eat Reese cups? Now, if you're thinking, well, she still might. You know why she still might? Stakes aren't high enough, or they're not sure enough. She either doesn't believe that I'm going to give her the $1,000, or that's not enough. She might need $2,000. But at some point, she'll say, okay, I'll do it. When the stakes are high enough and sure enough, your willpower is enough. Or if you're like, well, I'm not motivated by money. Okay, then the death of someone you love if you eat after 7:30. You gonna eat? Not if you think somebody's serious. That's really gonna happen. A friend came up to me recently and said he was complimenting me about my son's YouTube channel, and he said, man, you must be proud of your son, all that, and it was great. And he said, and by the way, Joe, he knows what I do. He said, Joe, I'm going to have this surgery done to help me lose weight. There's different ones. It doesn't really matter that much, I don't think. It's either the gastric bypass or the sleeve. They're different and have different ways of working, but ultimately they're going to give him the boost that he feels like he needs so that he can do it, right? He said, I just can't. I can't do it. I want to do it. He was really vulnerable and open and real. He said, I just can't do it. Okay. And I didn't want to take the wind out of his sails. I didn't want to make him feel bad. Hey, if you're that serious and it's that important to you to lose the weight, I think it's a great idea to lose the weight, then that's what you're going to do. I didn't want to say anything, but I also have thoughts about it, and I said, I don't want to discourage you. And if you didn't come over here for my thoughts on it, I'm not going to share my thoughts on it. And he said, no, go ahead. I said, okay. I said, 6 months from now, you can lose 100 pounds having had the surgery, or you can lose 100 pounds not having the surgery. You could do it without going under the knife. And all you have to do is, for the next 6 months, live as if you had the surgery. All the surgery's going to do is make it unpleasant for you to eat more than you should eat, more than a little bit. It's going to make it difficult for you to eat more than a little bit. We can help you to stop robbing banks. Just put you in prison. You'll stop robbing banks. You'll stop. Or we can work with you. Where is the greater growth going to come from? Put you in prison to keep you from robbing banks? That may be necessary. Or to help you, to get a probation officer and to check in and raise the stakes. Are the stakes high enough and sure enough for you? Why? And here's his response, and I get it. Well, Joe, yeah, I would love to not go under the knife. I don't want to do this. It's my last resort. It's my last resort. So why do some people need that? And other people, they could just be encouraged a little bit. Come on, let's do this. Let's start exercising. Let's quit eating so much. And they do. Why do the stakes need to be so high for some people to get it done? Well, here's one thought. You're believing lies. Behind every self-destructive thing you do is a lie you believe. Let's say you were trying to stop doing narcotics, and you go to a weekly narcotics meeting, and you're doing great. It's been 3 years, and you haven't done any, and you're back, and you're with your friends, and they're all, supportive, and you say, this has been a really hard week. I think I'm going to do narcotics this week. I'm going to take it. I'm going to snort. I'm going to do it. I got to do it this week. What are your friends going to say to you? Listen to me. Look at me in my eyes. You're believing a lie. You're going to regret it. That's all we're trying to do is get you to walk in the truth. The reason some people struggle so much is they're unable, with their current mindset, to walk in the truth. Here's a guy that was struggling with that. This is Dan. This Dan is incapable of losing weight with his current mindset. He'll never do it. He'll never do it. It's impossible. And it may be impossible for you. A lot of people will tell me, well, Joe, I know what to do. And I think Dan would have said, I know what to do. I've even done it before. I've lost a lot of weight before. I know what to do. No, you really don't. And you never will. And you'll never be able to, because your mindset won't allow it. You believe lies. You believe things that aren't true. And until we switch that, it's not going to change. So the bad news is you can't. You can't do it. Good news is you can change your mindset. Then you can do it. Well, I know what to do, Joe. I know what to do. You'll never do it with your current mindset. But are you willing to sit under the lights of the greenhouse and change and be changed in the way you think, so that you can change the way you do, so that the stakes don't need to be so high? I worked with the lady one time, and she had to lose 200 pounds to get to a healthy weight. She went to her doctor and came back and said, good news, I'm not diabetic. The stakes weren't high enough. She never lost weight because the stakes weren't high enough. I'm not sure that if the doctor said, Marge, you're going to die in 3 months if you don't lose 100 pounds. I don't know if she would have still done it, because she was incapable with her current mindset. And some people just aren't willing. It's one thing to say, I can't do it. I love bread and I love eating Reese cups at night and I just love it. And if I was to say, okay, if I could change you so that you don't love it, you're eating so much of it, would you want to be changed? Well, not really. Okay, then that's not, it's like somebody saying, I smoke cigarettes and I don't want to quit. Okay, then that's not going to work. But if you tell me, I want to change, I want to not want this stuff, then we can do it. But it'll never happen the way you are now. You are going to have to be willing to say, I'm going to sit under the tutelage. I'm going to be coached. I'm willing to admit I don't know, because you don't know. I don't know. I need help. Coach me. Teach me. Show me. I want to change. Then you can change. Then you can start believing in and walking in the truth and change your behavior. And you go from Big Dan to not Big Dan. You were never made to be this. God didn't do that to you. You have an opportunity. A lot of people are waiting for the perfect rescue. Well, I don't like that helicopter. Well, I don't like that helicopter. Well, I don't like that helicopter. I'm waiting for God to rescue me. I sent you 3 helicopters. You didn't like none of them. And we're waiting and waiting until it's natural and it's intuitive and I feel like doing it. You're never going to do it with the way you think now. let's look at some of the conversations here. 21-day transformation, get people off the weight loss yo-yo. It changed the way you look at food. Scott's down 70-something pounds. Jane, glad you're watching. Nick, how can you help people become what they want to be? I'll help you train your brain. I'll help you see what's real, what's true, where you're missing it, where we go through a 21-day process that takes you to a place where you're not. So then the stakes don't have to be, I got to give you $1 million for you to not eat a Reese cup. Suddenly it makes sense way before that. I'm sorry. Why am I yelling? I'm excited. Everybody can do it, but not everybody is willing to say, I need help. Help me change the way I think so that suddenly it makes sense for me to do the things that Big Dan decided to do. He cried when I told him what he was going to need to eat. He cried. You can't do it till you change the way you think. Then it's just, well, it ain't no big thing. Come on, y'all, get real. You know it's true. Well, I know what to do. But you won't get coached. You won't get trained. You won't get taught. And it's pride, really. Well, I should know this. It should come naturally. No, it doesn't. People got to get trained and taught and coached and helped. I should know what. I'm busy. I got all these things in my life going on. It ain't never going to happen. It ain't never going to happen. Please don't ever say you can't lose the weight when you're choosing not to get a new mindset. It's true you can't lose the weight, but you could get a new mindset. You're just unwilling to take the time to get coached, to get taught so that you can change. It's available for everybody. But a lot of people are afraid or whatever that they're going to lose something. No, all you're going to do is gain. But you're never going to gain that as long as you're holding on to this worthless stuff that you have given way too much meaning to. It's not worthless, but you're giving way too much meaning to this other stuff and you're losing out. Realize that this great struggle, it's a great struggle for many people, maybe the greatest, provides you with your greatest victory. Be grateful for it, that this is difficult and challenging, because without it, you wouldn't have the opportunity you have for the change in your thinking that gets you the change in your life. I was with Scott this morning. He's down 70-something pounds really quick. He said, man, this has done so much more for me than just weight loss. I love that. God's leaning forward in anticipation, wanting to respond to you, asking for help. Ask for help. For most people, that's all. And I know Scott, who's on here, a different Scott, when people show up to a 21-day, because he's at a lot of them now, just encouraging and bringing people, he says, you just did the hardest thing, showing up to this thing. Hey, Jenny, how you doing? Any other questions before we sign off here? If you would like to lose, who wants to lose 50 pounds before summer starts? You can. That's not that much before summer starts. Plenty of time. You want to lose 50 pounds before summer starts? Give me a shot. We'll do it. Let's train your brain. Yes, ma'am. Everybody can do it. Thank you, Deborah, for tuning in from out of state. And Nick, for your questions. Christy, good to see you. All right, I'm out of here. Have a wonderful week. Deborah will tell you how to get a hold of us if you need some help. I'm Trainer Joe, helping you train your brain and transform your body.